we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. However you'd like to do it, Casey, but Secretary Jennings, please dispense the first roll call.
I'm gonna audibly call it out today because there's too many people from my screen. Okay. President Mennonit?
Here.
VP Cooper?
Here.
Treasurer Watchday?
Here.
Parliamentarian Ray? No, he's here. Yeah. Senator Asbury? Senator Bearcat is here. Senator Botter is here. Senator Brooks is here. Is Senator Burke here? Senator Foote? Don't see him. Senator Forster?
Here.
Oh, there's Senator Asbury. Senator Green? Senator Karn?
Here.
Senator Long? See.
Here.
She's here. Senator Martinez is not here. Senator Mays. Senator McAdams. Senator Nepal. Senator Ramirez is here. Senator Reed is here. Senator Roberts is here. Senator Rodriguez, is he here? No, I don't see him. Senator Stone?
He requested absence.
Okay. Oh, right. Senator Thomas is not here, and Senator Williams is here. Okay. And Senator Asbury, I did mark you present because you joined right as I was taking roll. Okay, President Mennonit, go for it.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. Moving on to open forum. Is there anyone here to speak in an open forum? Going once, going twice. Okay. Moving on to speaker's podium. This is going to be an exciting one. I'm excited about it because I think it's a really cool thing that I hadn't thought of. But Chris Green, the Director of Information Security, is here to speak about and give you guys a little bit of information regarding dual factor authentication for student email accounts. So Chris Green, sir, you can take it away.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. This isn't how I envisioned meeting you all back when I met with Josh in late February, I think it was. He invited me out to speak to everybody, to talk about two-factor authentication, hopefully to get your backing on this project we're working on. But yeah, I'm here to just kind of tell you a little bit about it, answer any questions you might have, and we can go from there. As Josh said, my name is Chris Green. I'm the Director of Information Security. And for anybody that isn't familiar with two-factor, at least by the term, I'm sure that you have used two-factor, or you use two-factor in your daily lives. Some examples are that I use it, my Apple account, eBay, PayPal, Twitter, my banking account, Facebook even. Any account that I feel like somebody could really burn me if they wanted to, if they got my password. If ever given the option, I'm going to enable two-factor. And so that's what we're wanting to do for students, is give them that second factor of authentication. And if I didn't already make it clear, two-factor authentication, it's a second factor of authentication. So for example, if you log into a website, like I'm sure you guys have seen this before, you log into a website, you enter your password, and then it wants you to either answer a secret question, or you receive a text message with a PIN code that you enter in, or there might be an app involved. It's just a second factor of authentication. And the whole point of it is, unfortunately, in today's society, the number one way an attacker is going to go after you guys is to simply try to phish your credentials. Hackers can try to crack firewalls and things of that nature, but the easiest way is honestly just trying to phish users and get their password. And once they have that, you know, they're good, unless two-factors in play. So that's a huge tool we use to protect our faculty and staff. And right now we want to take that tool, especially since we found out we have the license available to use it for students, and go that direction. So question, probably the number one question on your mind is, how is this going to help us? Why would we want to enable it? To start out, we'd want to start with email. I think that's the number one risk, and I've got 4 examples. Excuse me, I'm going to go through to kind of talk about it. The first one is to protect you guys, protect your information. I don't know what kind of information you have in your email, but if your credentials have been phished, an attacker has access to all of that. I know in my email over the years, my parents may have emailed me, heck, just not too long ago, my dad had emailed me a bunch of account information because they're really freaked out about COVID, rightfully so. And so he's on a bunch of their account information and passwords in case something happens, to make sure, we have that. That's something that if a hacker got a hold of it, that could be terrible news for my parents. The second reason, aside from protecting you and your data, we need to protect you guys from other students' accounts who may be compromised. We've had a couple incidents this year where students have had their credentials phished, and then those students' accounts were used to target other students on campus. It was specifically a campaign, you guys may have heard of it, where somebody offers you a job. We actually had, I think, two students that fell for this scam. The attacker starts a conversation, offers them a part-time job, sends them a fake check for like $500, asks them to purchase them something, gift cards, or send them some money in some other form less than what they've received. And then when the student goes to cash the check, unfortunately, at that point they find out the check has been forged, and they're out whatever money they sent the attacker. And one student told me specifically, she said, I really felt like this was a real thing because it came from another student at UT Tyler. I feel like if that was the case where we had 2-factor in place, that could have probably prevented that student from falling for that scam. The third example is protecting us, faculty and staff, from you guys. We had two accounts, and it was early January. 2 student accounts were phished, and they just started targeting faculty and staff across campus. It was kind of clever, actually, because any correspondence that student had with anybody, the attacker was just basically going in and going down the person's email, hitting reply, and saying, "Hey, could you take a look at this file? I'm having a hard time accessing it." It took you to some really nasty malware. And because, the people that received these emails, they had already had previous correspondence with these students, it made them more likely to kind of fall for that attack. Fortunately, nobody did fall for that attack, but there was ransomware involved, which that's pretty problematic, especially if it starts to go lateral on your network. So yeah, that really kind of freaked us out. And the fourth example is protecting your friends and family. You might have people who have had conversations with you in email, confidential things that they wouldn't have getting out to other people. It would be also easy for an attacker, if they got into your email, they could go in and kind of, through reading your correspondence, figure out maybe who your parents are, who your close friends are, set up a fake Venmo account that sounds like it could be yours, email somebody, say, "Hey, I'm in a jam, could you send me some money?" There's just so many ways that attackers can take advantage of you guys if they get into your email. 2-factor would fix all of the scenarios I just mentioned. I can't tell you of all the UT institutions. Every institution is either currently protecting their students with 2-factor, or they are in the process of protecting their students like we are. I spoke with President Tidwell, along with Dr. Watley, who's the Chief Information Officer. He's very supportive of this effort, and he actually is kind of steering us towards a September 1 go live date. I'll be honest, I don't know if COVID and everything is gonna maybe push that back. It's too early to tell at this point, but right now I wanted to be sure and get with Josh and at least get in and have the conversation with you guys. This was one of the early steps in making this happen. And you know, we're just gonna go from there. And truth be told, speaking with the other CISOs across UT system, you know, I asked them, one of my big concerns is always, you know, was there any pushback from students? I don't want to rattle any students' cages or upset them, and make sure that we go about this in the right way. And every response I got was, honestly, the students are more open to this than maybe some of the older faculty and staff on campus, which is not a surprise because you guys are probably more technical savvy in certain areas. And like I said, this is something where you guys probably have a lot of familiarity. So that's kind of my pitch. I'm gonna leave it open if you guys have any more technical questions or whatnot that I can hopefully answer for you.
I do have a question.
Sure.
On some workplaces have their whole system on a VPN, the whole system. Would the school also be open to doing that, or just because they have their own servers already on campus, they feel that it's not much of a priority? You know what I mean?
No, not really open. I'm trying to figure out tying VPN into this conversation. Like VPN in what way? There's different types of VPNs.
So like at some places of work, their whole system, I guess all their outgoing data is protected with a VPN. You know what I mean?
I mean, we have different. Yeah, I mean, we have different different third-party services like Campus Solutions, for example. You know, that data, I don't know if it could technically be qualified as a VPN, but that is a kind of a point-to-point network connection where that data would be secure. I don't know. I'd have to get the IT guys in on a conversation to kind of listen to what you're asking and see what input they might be able to provide.
Okay. Thank you.
Is the current plan for just student email login, or will that include Canvas login as well?
Initially, it would be email. The two things, and I told Josh this back in February, the two things to also eventually move into two-factor would be Canvas and Campus Solutions. But we figured the best approach, since email seems to be the riskiest, start with that and not throw everything at everybody at once. And once the students get it all figured out and familiar with it and feel comfortable, then it would be a lot easier to ease other systems in there.
I kind of found myself surprised that we didn't have one when I first started going here, and I think since students have used this in other areas, like, you know, social media platforms or different accounts that they have, I don't think it'd be, you know, I don't really think that you'd receive any pushback with having this implemented. And then since you came to us, of course, we can give like fair warning and give students notice.
That's the hope. And we've had conversations about, okay, so what if a student simply does not have a smartphone, which it seems unlikely, but it would not surprise me at all if there's even a minute number. Somebody it doesn't even have to be a smartphone. It could be a flip phone, any kind of mobile device. And if that was the case, there are things that we could do to exempt them from the process. But the last thing we would want to do is set up a system to where it would prevent some students from being able to log into systems. I mean, that just obviously isn't going to work. So yeah, we've talked about that, and we have ideas in place for how to tackle those hopefully really rare and unique scenarios. Yes, sir.
Hey, so I actually have quite a long list. This is something I recently did a lot of research into and worked on And when I became executive board member, we get to work as a student. So I had to go through this process to get UT Tyler email and activate and use Duo Mobile for that process.
Okay.
So I had a few, I guess, comments and questions. So what we currently use right now is a third party. Is that correct? Duo Mobile?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first big problem with third-party organizations, their major goal is data collection and distribution. So as we give them our credentials and our information, they're able to selectively choose and basically distribute that information at their will. When you read their terms of agreement, they're questionable at best.
So you reviewed Duos?
Yes.
You've reviewed that? Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, and it says what any of them is going to say. They have the ability to collect information on you for the purpose of doing their job. But I'm sure you're aware, most third-party organizations do more than just collect and to do that job. They collect and distribute that information. And that's how they make a vast majority of their money. Most third-party organizations that are free, that's the only way they make their money, that are advertising. Right?
Okay. Okay.
So
I guess
that's a concern.
what I would say to you is,
continue. Sorry.
Hello. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say to your first point. So Duo is basically a system-wide contract that system put together. I know that there's a lot of smart people that before they sign these contracts, they go through and they look at everything. You know, all the things that you might be concerned about. If you wanted to email me kind of like a list of those concerns that I could specifically address with the system CISO and kind of get their feedback or thoughts, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay. Biggest thing I guess would be for me on that end would be if it were something that we could keep in the UT Tyler system as our check, that would be a lot more favorable. Rather than using a third party, have our own organization operating it.
I mean, when you say operate it, could you kind of elaborate on that a little bit? I mean,
I guess whereas Duo is a separate company from UT Tyler, I guess if UT Tyler had their own app that was doing the same thing and kept our information internal, that would be more favorable.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's just that's a big ask. I mean, if anybody would have done that, I think it would have been Austin. And
possibly.
I know Austin had originally before Duo, we were using a company called Toopher, Toopher, and Austin didn't develop it, but two of their graduates ended up developing it. And to be honest, Duo is a superior product to Toopher, but I think Toopher, if I recall, was also bought out by Cisco. So the pricing kind of went crazy and yeah.
So let me continue, I guess. One of the reasons I said is because, you mentioned having to download an app on your phone, which has kind of a side effect that I found that if you lose access to that app and you're not able to gain that app, you lose access to your passwords and your accounts that are associated with it. So that is a challenge as well. And that's one of the biggest things on the app that they comment on that says, hey, this sucks if you lose this account on Duo, you lose access to your account, whatever account it is. So you can no longer access that without having that app on your phone.
So when you say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't think so. That's correct, because if you lose Duo, you can just go on to any computer within the university system, library, or IT support, and you should be able to log in. And you can just give us a call at IT support, and we'll help you with reinstating the Duo thing to help you log in. So you won't lose your account altogether.
That's one of the things I tried to do. I tried to actually use Duo without using the app. I tried to do it separately just from the computer, but it wouldn't allow it. But you're saying you could recover it if it were lost like that?
Yeah, I mean, if something happens with Duo, it shouldn't touch your password at all. Those are completely separate. If anything, you would need to, so let's say, I don't know, let's say your phone is stolen, for example, and you have to get a new phone and it's going to take you a couple of days. That's going to be a problem if that's your second factor. So at that point, what we would do is, you would contact IT support or whatnot, and we would just temporarily disable two-factor for you until your device was able to be replaced. If it was a one-day turnaround or something you do really quick, it's just a matter at that point of re-registering your new device with Duo.
I also want to chime in a little bit on that. You can, because of Duo, there's also the option to do a phone call option and a text message option.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Josh, because
if you don't have the app, you can use those options.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Josh, because those. So the thing with the phone call and the SMS options are those actually cost money every time a user does that. So nothing is locked in stone, but I will say that since everybody has started working remotely, the amount of credits that people are using has shot through the roof, and in this kind of scary economic time where we're trying to find ways to save money, these Duo credits, they're racking up like crazy. So we would always encourage people to use the Duo app if at all possible. I mean, really the only time you shouldn't be using a Duo app is if you don't have a smartphone, or say you have an older flip phone and you can't put an app on it. And that may or may not, I don't want to say it is, but that may or may not, there may or may not come a point to where we have to basically say we're going to have to use the, have users use the app. And if that is the case, and again, there are going to be instances where that's not going to be possible for some people. And for those people, there are other options that we're talking about that we can present to them. But for the most people on campus, students and faculty, anybody with a smartphone, they're going to be asked to use the Duo app. That's not firm, but I think that's where the winds are blowing.
So let me mention as well. I know I had mentioned some of the problems with that particular app. I guess if you're curious, look at the ratings and reviews on it on the thing and the phone, and then you can kind of get an idea of some of the situations. Of course, most of the time they're being locked out of accounts that aren't UT Tyler accounts. I would assume y'all have the ability to reactivate and move past some of that.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's a third-party software, we have basically our own environment, and our systems analysts, they manage every aspect of that.
I did notice, which again, this is one of the distribution of information. When I downloaded that app, in the next 24 hours, I got 4 calls from out of the country, and one of my accounts was hacked. Yet I haven't had a crank call or account hacked in months or years. So
yeah, Ray, if you'll send me that kind of information email, I can definitely kind of do some digging and see if there's any way that those.
I wondered if any other people had had the similar experiences, but
I mean, I'm not saying this just because I'm trying to sell you guys on this. I just honestly, I haven't heard a lot of bad things about Duo. Then again, I'm not in IT, so I could talk to some of our IT folks that deal with Duo on a more day-to-day basis and just kind of ask them, what negative feedback maybe you've gotten from this product, and start looking at it.
I appreciate you coming and do it. I'm glad that I got to talk to you actually, because it was something that had been sitting on me for a while. So I had written down for quite a while.
Oh, well, then so thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Came by. We appreciate you working to improve the security of the university as well.
That's our mission.
Yeah, I'm giving feedback, but it's just just for extra information.
Yeah, I appreciate it for sure. Is there anybody else that yes, David?
Yeah. So is the plan to still require a 2-factor when you're logging in through a university computer?
No, anything on campus is that we have all the university IPs exempt. And another thing we've talked about, we're not doing this with employees, but with students, there's an option like Remember Me. I think you can, if you choose that, then you're going to have like a 7-day window to where you don't have to mess with it. And after 7 days, you'll do it the one time. I mean, again, I'm working remotely and I'm constantly logging on. The app is super. It's the quickest and easiest way. I mean, I literally enter my password and 1 second later I get the thing on my phone, unlock my phone, the app pops up, I hit approve and I'm in. Whereas if you're doing a phone call, it's going to tell you a number and then you've got to sit there and type that number in. The same thing with the text message. It'll text you a 6-digit PIN and then you'll have to type that in. The app is super easy, super quick, and you don't have to worry about it on your phone, and possibly there'll be that 7-day Remember Me for your phones. I think that might come down to if we can find a way to segregate students from faculty. I don't necessarily know we would want faculty to have that option, but students would be another story.
I should mention that I have had the app since I was put into the executive position, and I haven't had any problems with it beyond the initial startup and that. But yeah, I use the passcode option. So every time I log in, I just tell it to give me a passcode and type it in, and it's worked flawlessly since that point.
Okay, so you have the app installed?
Yeah.
I might just try Push and see what you think about it.
Okay.
Because like I said, it's quicker, and then also you're saving the university money too, so which is always a good thing. So
the passcode option, that's an additional?
Passcode and callbacks. They have they use tokens, and IT ends up having to buy a bundle of tokens every month or two. Although that was before COVID. Now that COVID's come along, it might be a week before they have to replenish their tokens. But yeah, I don't remember the number, but SMS requires so many tokens, and then I think callbacks are even, I think they might require a few more.
Well, see, the one I use is I just click, and then it just shows me a passcode on the screen on the Duo app. And then I type that into
so it's not texting, right? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant it was texting you. No, that's good. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I use the free option at least, I guess.
Okay.
And that should be fine. It's worked fine.
Great.
On that Duo app, I also have it, and like I've never even had to log back into it. It's like when I log into staff email, it just says, okay, give me your Duo, the passcode will start with this number, and then I'll look at it, and if it starts with it, I just put it in, and that's it. So that's free for the university or not?
Yeah, if it's not texting it to you, if you're not getting it via text and it's just a passcode coming through the app, you guys are catching me off guard with these passcodes. I mean, I wasn't aware that many people were using passcodes from within the Duo app. That's probably going to be something that I'm going to play around with tomorrow and get a little bit more familiar with.
I mean, if everyone just did that, so I guess the only problem with Senator Ray, what you're talking, or parliamentarian Ray, is that the app itself being a problem, being installed, that security reason, but actually having that as a second authentication not being a problem since it doesn't cost the school any money, right? Okay, cool.
I'm sorry, is that question for me or Ray?
No, to Ray, about his worries about having to install an app on personal phones. And then what kind of number if the number of students who don't have a smartphone, if it was low enough, wouldn't we be able to, well, I don't know. I'd say provide it, but that's a lot of more money than. So,
no, I don't know who that's above my pay grade, honestly. There are these these little devices called YubiKeys, and it's something you would ideally maybe like clip to your key ring or something. I've never personally messed with one, but my understanding is that say you're logging in, and you get that second factor, you get your YubiKey. I don't know if you shake it or push a button on it, something to that effect, and that gets you in. If the number is like a really low number, I can see IT possibly making that available. It just, I think that ultimately depends on, you know, what number we're talking about. And they're not,
So-
I think they're like $35. They last,
Gotcha. For the uni
unless you,
keys?
I'm sorry?
For the uni keys that you're talking
For
about?
the UB keys, yeah.
Okay.
And
well,
my understanding is unless you break it, it's going to last forever, is what I've heard.
all right. I mean, that sounds cool to me. So.
Yeah, we had a guy, we had a professor who was overseas, and he was in a situation where he had no cell service, so he couldn't really, the UB key was his only option, and from everything I heard, it worked like a charm.
Any other questions?
Okay. So if you guys don't have anything else, then I guess I'm not seeing anything that anybody else have. If not, then thank you, Chris, for coming and giving them so much important information. It was good to hear about it again myself, because there was a lot of those things that, especially what Parliamentarian Ray and Gus had brought up. Those I think are a lot of things that are important as well. And thank you, sir, for coming and taking your time. Especially, I know you've been busy. I've gotten several emails from you, keeping us safe over the web. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. I'll keep you guys updated as we progress, and yeah, just keep being safe, and thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
We can tell. We've been seeing from your emails and stuff. We can definitely tell you've been.
It's weird. It's just a whole different kind of dynamic.
So we appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, moving on. Thank you, guys. I'm glad that it came up, and I'm glad that we got around to doing that, because that was something, as he said, I want to think it was the week before, or just right before the week before spring break. So it was definitely a weird time, especially with planning to get him around and coming to speak about it and hearing a little bit more about it. So I wanted to outline something really quick, just to let you guys know, as this is the last meeting of the semester. I've changed the agenda, and the e-board has changed the agenda around a little bit to make sure we can fit and be timely and all the things we have to do today. So we've changed a few things. Unless somebody really objects, we've taken a lot of the committee reports out, and for the student voice reports the same way. If you guys feel as though there's something really important, you're free to share it. But if not, we're not going to go all the way down through the list. We're just going to allow you guys to finish up and say anything you would like. And then same for things, old business, and then at the end, the new business. Whenever there's no new business, we'll turn in, and we'll switch over to appointments and swear-ins of senators. So I guess I'll start off with my report for the past week. Obviously, elections were just finished, so that was a lot of craziness, as always. But I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we can move on. But really, I'm just finishing up. Getting the election information, getting us ready for the new semester. I'm getting us ready for the next semester. Sorry about that. And then we'll just getting everything lined up, making sure that everything's lined up for you guys who are staying over the summer. I think there's going to be a little bit of work for us to do over the summer in regards to just keeping on Faculty Senate's radar, a couple things that I have to be working on. But I won't be expecting too much, so I've just kind of been using this week to iron out kind of my plan for everybody in this organization over the summer. Other than that, I guess to end, I've been really reminiscing on a lot of the past year and how much fun I've had, and a lot of the guys who have been around since the very beginning, a lot of people who have come out in the middle of the semesters and stuff. It's been a lot of fun, and I guess over the past week I've had a lot of time to think about it, and thank you guys, and that's all I've got. Vice President Cooper.
All right. All right. So I will be sending out the Netflix party announcement after GA. I've put together a list of approved movies on Netflix. So if y'all would go vote go vote on which movie you want to watch. It's just going to be us. So don't worry. It's not going to be like the whole student body that's involved. And same thing for the SGA Kahoot. It's going to come out either this weekend or next week, depending on when I get everything done. But it's going to be similar to the ones that the student engagement offices have been doing, if everybody's done them. It's where you can log in to the Kahoot with the code, and then it's open for like an hour or two, and then you can take it whenever you want to, take the quiz, and then it just tallies up all the points at the end and sees who's in first, second, third, whatever. Anyway, and then since our e-board meeting on Monday, I started planning on what I'm going to work on during the summer. So yay, summer, so close. And then on a sad note, I know that Secretary Jennings and I have mentioned in the past couple of weeks that we were going to try and do like a virtual SGA banquet, but we decided that it was easiest just to not do it. But the good part, the bright side of that is just be on the lookout for a summer newsletter that might, wink wink, have some congratulatory awards, I guess, in it for our senators from this past year. So please read it. It is very important and you will be in it. So please. And then other than that, I'm not doing anything else, but I'm just sad that it's our last meeting. I'm really sad it's our last meeting, but we're still going to be working during the summer and we can start up again in the fall. And I really want to see y'all again because I thrive off of human interaction. And this is really hard because I'm getting no human interaction except for my family and they're crazy. So please, goodbye. That's it. That's all I have.
Awesome. I feel a lot of the same thing too, especially that last part about family being crazy. So moving on to Secretary Jennings.
Hey guys, this is my last meeting as secretary. Jennifer is going to do a great job. I already know it. But obviously this week has been a little bit sad for me because I really love everything that I do and I love you guys. But I am just as much dedicated to being an awesome senator this coming year. And you can bet your booties that I'm going to be back in the elections next year to run again. So I really appreciate you guys working with all my crazy ideas to start a newsletter and, post memes on Twitter for SGA and all that stuff. I think that we've, as a team, really gotten SGA to a whole nother level this semester, and I can't wait to see how our new e-board keeps that up. Just kind of the final things I've been working on, I guess, are transition documents, make sure our new e-board is prepared, and getting all of our minutes and recordings and everything posted to YouTube and our website so that we can maintain that accountability with our students.
Awesome. And just to hit on that last part there and how awesome of a job Casey has done this semester. She has done awesome. She has picked up so much slack that was laying out on the floor and has done so much for us, so much for specifically me. She has kept me sane whenever I'm in the office, whenever I'm outside of the office, whenever I'm going insane, whenever I'm already out the door because I'm insane. And she has done a lot. She's awesome. And it's good. I'm going to miss having her doing this, but she's going to be doing just as good of a job as she does as secretary, as a senator. So I'm excited because no matter where she is, she's going to do a good job. So, yes, ma'am. Moving on to treasurer. Let's see if I can get Ra Washday.
Yay, yay. And it took you all the semester to finally nail it. Okay, hey guys. So I've been doing kind of the same thing, just wrapping up the transition documents, making sure that, the next treasurer will do a fantastic job, and personally, I want to thank, even though I know a couple of my people are not here, but I want to thank everyone who has joined and attended my committee meetings. Thank you guys. It has meant a lot. And I only hope that next semester, the new treasurer will do even a better job than I have, because I have set her up for complete success. So best of luck to her. And Yeah, I'm sad that this is our last meeting, but this isn't the last y'all have seen of me yet. So we will see each other next time, whenever that is. I believe in the fall. So
Awesome. And same thing, a lot of the same things. Both of these lovely ladies, if they came in at the same time and picked up a lot of the same stuff and did a lot of the same hard work, and I have to give it to them because without them coming in here and doing that, you know, it wouldn't have been as strong. And a lot of the work that they did, especially when I'm on campus, as Aya has figured out, her job is rather difficult whenever she's not on campus. But where the difficulties were, she picked up for, and she did a good job, and both of them did a good job whenever they weren't originally expecting to do it. So they stepped into a role that they weren't expected to do initially, and they did it awesome. So thank you guys. Thank you, because it's been an awesome year and an awesome semester with you guys. So lastly, Parliamentarian Ray.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to. Oh my God, man, you're not even sad that it's all finished, it's all wrapped up.
And I've been studying for 14 to 17 hours a day for weeks now, so I'm just ready to be done with the semester.
I feel
all those in favor, please say aye. Yeah. Okay, so no worries there. So moving on, like I said, we're just gonna skip a little bit over committee reports unless somebody heavily objects. I think if anybody has any, is there anybody who wants to say anything? Casey, anybody? Really quick. Okay. Unless,
sorry.
okay.
My committee is going to meet one more time on Friday just to kind of hand it over and, you know, just to give our little group time to say bye and everything. So if you guys have participated in my committee, or if you haven't, you're totally welcome to come 10 a.m. on Friday.
Awesome. Okay, so moving right along down to student voice reports. I think the same thing for committee reports. I guess the same circumstance, unless someone heavily objects. If there's anybody who would like to share something immediately. Let me see if does anyone have anything they would like to share?
I actually kind of had something I wanted to talk about. Because I had a graduate student in the clinical mental health counseling program reach out to me, and she was saying that in her a part of the grad school, you have to have apprenticeships with local mental health facilities, and due to Corona, all of these facilities have been closed down, and the school's not really supporting them or helping them find new apprenticeships for those that lost them. And there's a lot of grad students that are really freaking out about it. And so I'm not sure how it will play into the new semester, but she just wanted me to bring awareness to that going on.
Okay, and sorry, I don't know if my mom's honking. I think it is something that can be some. It's something that could have awareness brought to it. Could you send me? Sorry, I was just communicating with someone. I don't want to not pay you, but could you send me a little bit more about it in a chat really quick, Cameron?
Yeah, I'll send you a private message.
Sorry, I just want to make sure that I have it down, and I want to make sure I didn't miss anything, especially with my mom literally blowing the horn. Okay, if you could send that over. Sorry about that.
You're good, no problem. Thank you.
When anybody have anything else? Going once. Okay, if there is. Rhett was about to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say Happy Earth Day. You know.
Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you shout out to the Earth for holding me up all this time, and I've been there before. I've been to Earth. So Moving to old business. Does anybody have any old business? Seeing none. Okay, so moving on to new business. Does anybody have anything to add to or to bring to new business? I know Kevin did, so you go right ahead, sir.
Okay. Just want to say thank you, everyone, for such a great second semester. Just want to start with that first. It's been very fun to work with each and every one of you this second semester, and I hope for great things next year. Since this is our last meeting, I wanted to just kind of throw something out and see where it goes. And I guess in this case, it would be a motion to discuss a housing ambassador, if someone wants to second that. I think if that's how we do that.
Second.
Second.
Okay. So me and Maneko, Maneko and I talked in our housing committee meeting last week. And we kind of discussed this, and then we kind of finalized what we wanted to do this meeting we had today, of how we kind of wanted it to be structured. And this is, of course, I'm not asking us to vote on anything today. I'm just seeing what your guys' opinion is on it. So some of the problems that me and Maneko have identified is that obviously, I'm sure because of coronavirus, it made it a lot harder. But before, we had a problem with filling in the vacancies for the housing senators. Of course, there are 8 that are still open. And me and Maneko thought to better fit this, addressing some of the problems that they had would be to consolidate the roles and getting rid of the housing senators and replacing them with just 2 housing ambassadors, only because those senators that are part of SGA are also in RHA, and they also have to respond in RHC. So they're doing 3 times the work as a SGA senator. So if we had an ambassador that would be strictly for informing what's going on between RHA, SGA, it would lessen the workload on them. And also it would boost, while it would lower the attendance here because you're getting rid of 8 seats, it's gonna make sure that you're getting 2 people who are dedicated to facilitating reports to SGA, as well as they understand what they're working on, instead of those members prioritizing one over the other. With that, we also wanted to remove the housing committee, because at that point, if there were 2 housing ambassadors, there would no longer be a need for this committee. So they would report all the stuff in place of this committee for us. So as I wrap up here, and if Maneko wants to add anything, I have a few pros and cons. So again, pros of this housing ambassador role would be there would be more consolidation within SGA and RHA. We would still be maintaining that level of communication as before. It will be less stress on the RHA members because they won't have to be in 3 organizations. Less prioritization. They'll be focused on reporting back and forth rather than reporting back and forth, going to all 3 meetings, and then still dealing with the constituents in the housing facility that they represent. And then it's going to be less of a burden of SGA because they will be focused more on their duties. Some cons of this, though, is that we would lose 8 members, but those 8 seats, 10 seats, I'm sorry, would have a problem being filled anyway. I know that we have a problem with filling in vacancies, so this will consolidate things a bit. And of course, this will remove the housing committee because there will no longer be a need of it because of those ambassadors. And if Maneko, you want to add anything, that's all I have.
You actually addressed everything that I was going to say. So
Okay.
Good job.
So with that, does anyone have any questions or thoughts or comments?
So I have one thing, Kevin. So basically your goal is to, so we just moved to a constitution that has RHA forward senators or forward their recommendation as senators for SGA. Now, are you saying that this person is in charge of finding those senators? Or are you saying this person is just kind of a bridge?
This person will be a bridge. So this person would be communicating, essentially doing what the housing committee was supposed to do, but in a role of one person or two people. They would be an ambassador representing RHA instead of representing that facility and reporting to SJ as a whole.
Okay. And you said something before, and I've heard this concern from RHA members in the past. RHA seems, those students who do that seem to have a lot of time taken by doing RHA. Could you elaborate like how, because I mean, I've been worried that, because if you're in RHA, which is effectively student government for a housing facility, and then you're also in student government, which is a student government for the whole university, it could be a lot to ask. So could you elaborate on kind of the roles that they're looking for? That way we have insight going into the summer as to like what this person's job would really be.
Are you talking about what does a senator representing RHA does, or what would this ambassador do?
What a senator, I mean, because I'm just trying to find like not so much what the point of having an ambassador would be, but what the bonuses are, because if you already have an SGA senator who's an RHA member, shouldn't they already be forming a bridge between RHA and SGA?
If I understand correctly, he's suggesting that we remove those seats and have the ambassadors replace those senators. So instead
Yes,
of
to
having
consolidate.
a full-fledged housing section of senators, we have two housing ambassadors that directly report between the two organizations.
Precisely.
I see that now.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Even though our current set of rules is just changed to fit, well, in the process of changing to fit the new plan, the rules that I'm currently working on could be modified throughout the summer to correct and address that.
Again, I just want to reiterate that this is just a thought, because I'm writing letters to the next president of RHA, and I was going to include this in it depending on how this conversation went. So just wanted to see what the air was thinking on about this.
I just want to say one thing. Sorry, Josh.
No, you're okay.
I just wanted to say that I really appreciate
Go
the
ahead.
initiative that you've taken on this. It seems like you really have thought this through, and you and Senator Ramirez both, you know, even if this isn't something that we end up deciding to go with, I'm still really proud of you for working so hard on it.
Thank you.
I second that. Well, and to kind of help wrap it up, and did he? Oh, now we're just. Are you guys raising your hand, or are you just doing it?
What Robert and I were doing was like he third, I fourth.
Yeah, well, you fourth, and then David actually rose his hand and had a 5 on it. So I just kind of figured like it kind of defeated the joke.
Someone said second, I don't know. Then he said third, and I said fourth.
So yeah, go ahead, David.
Yeah, I did want to point out that we have those senator positions from each housing facility in order to equally represent the people at different sites. I know a lot of like what you and Maniko have brought have been like UPine specific issues because you live at UPines. So I feel like having those ambassadors, while it's a good idea, it might be an easier route to instead having the Constitution that HRA members get preference to those senator seats, but we can still fill those seats with residents of those communities, even if they're not in RHA, if no one's trying to join from our RHA.
So
that we don't. Yeah.
Sorry, and correct me if I'm wrong, Robert. How it's written is basically that right now. RHA has the first 2 weeks of a semester to figure out the spots, and then after that, SGA takes precedent and would be able to find other people. So after that 2-week mark, if there's a struggle with RHA finding them, if they, now not to say that they will be lazy about it, but if they do miss out on the deadline, then we are in charge of finding it. So it may help to find it. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Robert?
Yeah, basically the current way is just like you said. So I don't think that selection process would change any. The only difference I'm seeing that I guess you're saying, Senator Roberts, is that there would just be less of those senator seats,
Right.
and they would be universal representation.
So to that, Senator Potter, what I would say is that with those ambassadors, since me and Maneko have been really focused on UPine issues, this ambassador, what I would say, if I was in charge of creating that, would they would get a list of issues or complaints or whatnot from a senator from each facility, and that ambassador will then report it out to SGA in these meetings to kind of counteract that.
Okay.
Instead of having a number of representatives for each location, you'd have a singular or dual representative that represented the whole housing.
Right.
So we have representatives for our representatives. Basically.
Right. So those RHA or those SGA housing facility senators are just going to be in the RHA meetings. I wish I could like draw it out, but like those SGA senators are going to be in the RHA meetings, and then the ambassadors would go to both RHA meetings and SGA meetings to just kind of facilitate communication back and forth. But though, because the RHA members do have a lot of work as far as RHA next year when it is fully started, as well as managing each facility. Because I know some of our RHA members are in the other organizations are extremely busy. They don't have time to add an SJ meeting. Or, once we start doing RHA meetings every week, starting next year, it's going to become very taxing on them. So I just want to make sure we're not overtaxing those members and that they face burnout because, they're having to do three things.
I like the concept of consolidating them. As the thing is right now, if those students who represent those positions wanted to, they could already be senators right now, and they're not. So it kind of is an indicator to me that we would struggle to fill those positions, and we might be better off doing what Senator Roberts said.
I have a minor suggestion, Senator Roberts. Since I agree that I think holding an RHA position and being an SGA senator it's a lot of work, and for a voluntary position it's asking a lot of students. I would think about considering having executive positions within RHA, being the representatives or being those ambassadors that you're speaking about. So like perhaps the VP or the secretary of RHA would be the people that are going to the SGA meetings and reporting what the RHA meetings have been discussing. So that way, when you're signing up for that big of a position, it holds a little bit more weight to it instead of just basic line members having such, being more demanding positions, if that makes sense. Just something to think about that might make it a little bit easier.
Okay, I wrote that down.
Thank you, guys. So does anybody have anything else to add for this discussion?
It's for a new thing, for new business.
Okay, well.
Okay, I guess we have to vote to close it, right?
I'll just say this. So I'll send it. I'll write this on the letter, and I'll send it to the future RHA president, and it will be up to him if he wants to pursue this or her, if he wants to pursue this or not, or up to this SGA, of course, too. So that's where I'll leave it. And motion to close this discussion.
Seconded.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Or
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, those opposed? Okay, and anybody who abstains? Awesome. So moving on, anything else to add to new business?
Yeah, can I open a discussion about involvement of the other colleges? Like an idea, I have an idea I'm trying to work on during the summer about involving the other campuses of UT Tyler. Do I have to vote to open a discussion?
Yes.
Okay, so motion to open a discussion about involvement of other UT Tyler campuses.
Second. Is that the right? Is that the right?
Okay, it was motioned and seconded. Senator Bearcat, you have the floor, sir.
Hey, so I'm trying to work on a plan during the summer about involving the other UT Tyler campuses, like the Houston campus, the Palestine campus, and the Longview campus. I've said a little bit about this in the fall semester, and then it kind of petered away. I want to work on it during the summer. What I want to do is, I know that each of the colleges get a couple seats each, right, for a student government to have their voice heard. I think that because of the distances and the time and the how they're far apart, I think they should do like a meeting once a week or once every month, similar to Zoom, where they sit down, where a representative from each college sits down and they talk about student government things, what's going on the campus and whatnot, and we talk about we come up with solutions and things like that, sort of like a student government meeting, but for everybody, for the whole. I don't know, it's still an idea. I just wanted thoughts about if this is even possible. I'll work on something concrete during the summer if this is something possible, and get you an actual presentation.
And it's definitely something that's possible. Well, it's definitely possible for sure. It's just the logistics of it. It's something that, while I mean, it's good that you brought it up to us. It's probably something that had to be worked out on a smaller scale. But because besides, finding a Zoom call or me and a group of other people who are knowledgeable about a lot of issues, that would be about all it would take. So I mean, it's definitely a good idea, but it's just getting the resources and the things together to get it done is all that it lacks.
Yeah, I'm thinking something like what you guys do when you guys go up to UT Austin. What is it called?
UT-SAC.
UT-SAC. Something similar to that, but instead of in-person Zoom meetings or something like that. Like I said, it's an idea. If there's things if we hit bumps like logistic purposes, like President Menendez said, we can wait on it, or I can do something. I don't know. It's just an idea.
Hey, Senator Bearcat, just for the summer, because I've already been working on trying to get in contact with with students from the other campuses and trying to involve them in things, which has been difficult because of the corona. But for the summer, if you happen to continue with this, be sure and loop President Mahennett and I in, just because that falls underneath our umbrella. Or just the e-board, loop everybody in, just in case, like, if you have something you're going to do, just so we know, because a lot of them know our names and want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So I'm not trying to do 10 different things at once.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, our distance senators for our distance campuses, we just don't have any right now. But if we did, then they would participate in these meetings like we do via Zoom. So I feel like that's basically what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I'm not seeing your full vision, so maybe something different. But ideally, we could just get our senators at distance campuses to come to these General Assembly meetings, and we would tackle basically what you're suggesting.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Building on ideas. That's something we can definitely add in.
Remember, I want to say maybe it was last semester, Senator Bearcat, we tried to do this, and I actually I spoke on Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting to the Houston campus students and encouraged them to try to join SGA or become senators and those kind of things. And so I think the struggle will be actually getting them to get involved. So
Yeah, I understand, and I'll be sure to loop you as well in, because I know you also have a lot of knowledge of these things, and I think it's good to have a more input and idea building. So yeah, just like I said, just an idea working on.
yeah, because there's a lot of people there that are not represented.
Yeah, I agree, and because we're engineering students and I'm an engineering senator, it makes sense for at least HEC to be involved.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, that's it. If anybody else has any other ideas other than that.
Somebody else raised their hand. Maybe it was Jennifer Stonewall.
Yeah, I was just going to comment. My first year in SGA, so last year, we did have a lot of struggle getting senators from the distance campuses. I'm not really sure what the problem is, but hopefully, now that we've proven we can handle ourselves on a Zoom meeting, maybe we can convince them to come join us again. Because I know the few times that they did attend, they had some really great ideas, and we got to do some really cool things, like put in a student lounge down at the Houston Engineering campus. So that is something that I definitely want to work with Hannah Cooper on this summer, so that we have all of our seats full.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does anybody have anything else to add to discussion?
Motion to close discussion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and those who abstain. Okay, so moving right along, unless somebody has something pertinent to add to new business, we'll move into our last and pretty important item, swear-ins for our new officers and senators. So how I believe we've discussed this for an e-board, correct me if I'm wrong, we'll go and do the e-board members first, and then after that, we'll do a holistic swear-in of all the other students who are returning, who have already contacted specifically about their seat, and Cody, Aya, and Gus. I know I tried to speak to you guys previously. If that's okay, I'll get you guys worked out. We'll find spots for you as we discussed. But other than that, we'll go ahead and get started. I do not know how it should go for swearing in of a president who's done this twice in a row. We hadn't discussed that. Parliamentarian Ray, what do you think? Because it doesn't say, and it's not something that I thought of explicitly.
Clarify your question.
Who gives the oath to me to be sworn in to do this again?
You say it with us.
Okay, so I guess I'll just read it, and then you guys repeat after me. Obviously, whenever you get to the I, insert your name, and then the office or position that you are. And if you can't, raise your hand if you can, and we'll have our little cute. Except for my hand is not there. So
let me come in. I think it might be easier since Josh doesn't have to repeat it twice. It might be, since you are the parliamentarian, I think it would be okay for you to administer the oath to Josh, and then Josh could then move forward and do the rest.
Okay. I was going to have you do it, Josh, now that you're back.
I think it'd be better coming from a student.
Okay. So let me pull it up. I assume Josh Mininet already had it ready, so.
I just sent it to you. Because I already sent it to Hannah for some reason. So it's in the chat if you want to see it.
I have the rules documents right on my background, basically, so. Okay, so I'm just doing President Josh right now?
I think that'd be the best course of action, and then Josh can then do the rest.
Okay. Bear with me for a moment. And I see you did put it in the chat here. I thought you were saying you sent it to my email, so, okay. All right. President Mininet, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I,
Joshua Mininet,
do solemnly swear that I shall faithfully represent
the
interests of the student body of the University of Texas at Tyler. I shall dutifully uphold and preserve the Constitution and bylaws of the Student Government Association. While ardently executing the office of President for the student body
the student body
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
Congratulations.
That was a little different. You threw me off there.
I made one section a little longer than you normally do.
Okay. So we'll move on and we'll do for the e-board members. So e-board Vice President Cooper, Secretary Stabenow. What an alliteration to have. That'll be fun to say over and over.
Are you gonna get it right?
Yes, I will get it right. Treasurer Long, and then Parliamentarian Ray. So I guess raise your guys' right hands. Cameron hiding. I don't know if, oh, there she goes. So obviously repeat after me. I, and then your name, and then the position you'll be serving at. So I, answer your name.
I, Jennifer Stabenow,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I shall faithfully represent.
That I shall
faithfully represent
It's okay. Sorry. Don't worry about speaking over someone. That'll be okay. The interests of the student body
the interests of the student body
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
I shall dutifully uphold
I shall dutifully uphold
and preserve the Constitution
and preserve the
the Constitution
and bylaws of the student body
and bylaws of the student body
while ardently executing the office of, insert your position,
the office of
Secretary
of the Student Government Association
of the Student Government Association
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
You did that thing.
Yay.
Yay. You're supposed to say yay.
Yay.
I feel like I confused you, Josh.
Yeah.
Because on here it says preserve the Constitution and bylaws of the student body.
Yeah, so.
But it's the Constitution and bylaws of the student government, is what I said.
Yeah. Oh, did you just read it along?
No, I read what's on the rules.
Oh.
It's just different from here to there.
Okay. Well, anyways,
the concept is the same.
Okay. So we'll move on to the senator swear-ins now. Those of you guys who I've spoke to previously, and the positions that I said to you guys, that's the positions that you will fill in, and that's the for the position that says insert position here. So raise your right hand, please, and then repeat after me. Disclaimer before we get started: if you feel as though you're speaking over someone, it is because you are, and do not. If it's distracting, if it's distracted, just turn your volume down. It'll be okay. So I, and then insert your name.
I, Catherine Jennings,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I shall faithfully represent
that I shall faithfully represent
the interests of the student body
the interests of the student body
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
I shall dutifully uphold
I shall dutifully uphold
and preserve the Constitution
and preserve the Constitution
and bylaws of the student body
and bylaws of the student body
while ardently executing the office of,
the
insert
office
your
of Dulles College of Business Senator.
The office of student body at large.
Office
Of
of
the
College of Engineering.
of the Student Government Association
The
Of the
Student
Student Government Association.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
Of the University of Texas at Tyler.
Awesome. You clap around these parts for you guys who don't know. So clapping is the way to go. Okay, so now that we've got the new people, new individuals sworn in, I guess it is up to you guys how we proceed. If you would like to proceed as we normally would, or if you would like to motion to adjourn or anything such as that, it is up to the now sworn in individuals. Parliamentarian Ray.
Did we give the new senator a chance to introduce herself?
Oh, are you referring to Alexandra, now Senator Perkins?
Yes.
Okay, well, if I guess he is saying that Senator Perkins, because you're the only one who is attending tonight that has not previously been a part of SGA. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, please go ahead.
Uh-oh. We can't hear you.
No audio. She probably didn't connect her computer audio.
Hey, Alexandra, if it doesn't work, you can send it in the group chat or just don't introduce yourself. I know that sounds stupid, but if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. So.
Yeah, we'll get plenty of time for you to introduce yourself. What's your major? While she's typing that, does anybody want to motion to adjourn?
No.
No? We got other things?
No.
Advisor comments.
Advisory comments, yes.
Yeah, Master Jedi Neves.
Man, I thought I was going to get out of this one.
No, sir.
No, I think I told the e-board this past Monday that this has been a good year. I think there's been a lot of curveballs thrown at student government. This year felt a lot smoother than most years. Including the officer transitions, we had a lot of officer moving around, and even though that happened, it seems that things continue to move forward. I'm really proud of y'all. Every year, for those who've been in student government for a long time, Macy Ann, Hannah, y'all can really speak to this, that every year's different, and I think overall this is a good year, and I think a lot was addressed and accomplished, and it's exciting to see to have some new folks join as well, and I think moving forward, now after going through this situation of COVID, I think there's going to be hopefully a little bit more involvement from the student body, and I hope that next fall we're going to be able to fill every seat possible. But with that being said, I've missed all of you. It's Zoom is nice to be able to still keep business going, but there's just something different about having in-person meetings and being able to connect with students and help students in person, versus Zoom and emails. And so I'm really looking forward to things being as close to normal as possible. Y'all have got a lot ahead of you as far as new challenges on the horizon next fall. I think there's some unfinished topics that were not addressed, such as tuition and fees. That's going to have to be brought back up for discussion. Robert has done an amazing job already on overhauling another set of updates for the Constitution and bylaws. And so I'm really excited about Robert's, what he's going to be able to do as far as training and really start getting the practices in place for student government. And so we've done good, but this year I think it was a big step forward, and I'm excited for all the new officers as well. And I think y'all are in good hands overall. And so for that being said, continue to check your email. I think the new e-board will be in contact with you over the summer as they start working on new initiatives, goals that they're going to want to achieve, and then also start coordinating meeting times before y'all get into a groove for the start of the semester. The goal will be to meet the first week of school. So do keep that on the radar. We're going to be rocking and rolling And so that way y'all can get back to addressing some issues on campus. But kudos.
Hey, Josh, aren't you in the running for Advisor of the Year today?
Oh, okay. So for those who, well, obviously the Leadership and Service Awards just concluded a few minutes ago, and so we will post that ceremony online very shortly. Whoever nominated me, I do appreciate y'all nominating me. But I do, since I am the Director of Student Engagement, I do have the luxury of having a hand in that process. And so I removed myself from the running. It is part of my responsibilities to be your advisor. It's one of it's something that I take great pride in. It's something I don't do as optional, even though I would do it as optional if y'all asked me to. But I want to make sure that we're recognizing advisors that are doing it as additional work. And so whoever nominated me, I really do appreciate you. But this is something I take great pride in, and I appreciate you for doing that. But thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so President Mahena had to step away, so you got me now. Before we log off, everybody, if you will, look at what new Senator Perkins just sent in our group chat. She put all of her information in there. So yay, she is new and we like her and we're so glad she's here. So Josh's thing just came back. So President Mahena, if you are here, please tell me, but if not, he's not here. Okay. After advisor comments, it was second roll call, right? So that's it. Sad time. Oh, hey, also Alexandra, what senator position did you get? If you could write that in the chat, just right quick so we can write it down. Yeet. Okay, thank you. Awesome. Okay, so do I hear a motion to adjourn? Sadly.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Second.
okay, so there you have it, folks. We're adjourning. I will miss you so much. The outgoing e-board and the incoming e-board is happy to work with you on anything you need or just want to be friends. Come talk to us, text us, whatever. We love you all. Happy summertime and bye. I miss you so much. Okay, that's it. It's done. You could leave. Bye, everybody.
Bye.